Namaskar, good evening. It's, we were in Jodhpur just last week and we are in Udaipur now. It's always lovely to be in this state. There is a certain vibrancy about being in Rajasthan, and it's delightful to always be here. So thank you very much for inviting us to this gem of a festival, Udaipur Tales. It's so nice to listen to stories, and it's really an art form that gives one so much of happiness and peace. So it's lovely to be a part of this festival, really. Thank you so much for inviting us. And thank you all for staying on what is turning out to be a cold night. एक तरह से ठीक ही है, वैसे महाशिवरात्रि है तो जगे रहना चाहिए. देखिए, ऐसे है कि यहाँ बैठी सब औरतें ये मानेंगी इस बात को कि सबको पतली कमर और लंबे बाल चाहिए. तो ये जो कहानी है बाई बेगम और जान की, इट टेक्स अस बैक इन टाइम टू अबाउट end of 19th, early 20th century. So, who were these women, and why do we need to talk about them? In the year 1899, long time ago, none of us were alive then, There was a man called William Gaisberg who came from England to India, and he was given one task. And what was the job? The job was to set up a music market. He belonged to the Gramophone and Typewriter Company Limited, and he was sent here कि भाई पूरी दुनिया में ये सब चल रहा है, अभी इंडिया में भी जाके set up a market. So he's here, he's completely at sea, he doesn't know where to begin, he doesn't know what it means to set up a music market in India. So he asks around and he's led to a महफिल. उस ज़माने में महफिलें हुआ करती थी, जो बड़े बड़े लोग थे, ज़मींदार थे, नवाबजादे थे, जो राजा महाराजा थे, उन लोगों के यहाँ महफिलें हुआ करती थी. तो ऐसी एक महफिल में ये भी चले जाते हैं जनाब गैसबर्ग साहब. And there he sees two girls whose name were Shashimukhi and Fanibala. And they were just 14-15-year-old girls. And this is happening in Kolkata. And he is absolutely shocked at what he sees. He writes in his own memoirs that he can't believe what he has seen. Screechy voices, wearing strange petticoats and swirling around. So essentially these girls were doing Kathak and singing. But that is how he begins the making of the market. He realizes that these women, people come to listen, to watch these women. And that is where the story of the Bais and the Begums and the Jans begins. These women were entertainers. But in the year 1902, the gramophone becomes a commercial entity. Matlab, bechne wali baat. So music is recorded on a 78 RPM and sold for the first time in India. And who is the woman who is the diva, the first woman who records on the 78 RPM? Was none other than Gauhar Jan. It was the year 1902 that Gauhar Jan makes her first recording, which is sold. And from there is no looking back. Today, we listen to music on iTunes, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, YouTube. But all this happened. It happened because what happened in the year 1902, which changed the way in which we listen to music forever. Gauhar Jan was the diva of this phenomenon. And I'm going to sing you a little dadra that she sang in one of her earliest recordings. And mind you, she was born to Armenian Jews. Her parents were Armenian Jews. Her father left her mother. The mother herself converts to Islam, learns to sing and dance, teaches her daughter to sing, and Gauhar, mind you, learnt from none other than the grandfather of Pandit Birju Maharaj, the legend himself. So such was her training, impeccable. And she, at that time, commanded the kind of respect, the money, and the order that some of us are still haggling for. So that was Gauhar Jan for you. I will sing you a short little piece that she has also presented amongst, she sang in more than 20 languages. So this is the dadra. थोड़ा रिवर्ब कम कर दीजिए. what started in the year 1902 very quickly became popular. So the GTL, or the Gramophone and Typewriter Company, did its first tour between 1902 and 1908. And they were already publishing many records. And in the meantime, the first plant came up, manufacturing plant for records, came up in India as well. It was called Maharaja and Sons. And they started making what was called Chudi Ka Baja. Yeah? And the gramophone became a social thing. People became curious about it. Can we have a little bit of light in the audience? It's okay even if it's few people, but because it's nice to make a connect. So the gramophone became a social thing. People started talking about it. They became curious about it. There were riddles and jokes around the gramophone. And one riddle went like this. कि रोटी एक लगाती चक्कर उस पर रखा भाला, झूम झूम डायन सुर में गाती रोटी का है मुंह काला. तो ऐसी ऐसी चीजें लोग मजे ले रहे थे. Because you have to understand that till then music was only meant for the few privileged, for the gentry, for the zamindars, for the people who could afford to invite these women to perform for them. Suddenly, with the machine coming into the market, it democratized the whole space. People could listen to music. So there were what were called gramophone soirees. लोग इकट्ठे होते थे मशीन के आसपास और गाना सुनते थे. If you've seen this film Mirch Masala, there is a delightful scene in that film. सब इकट्ठे होके ऐसे एकदम अचंभित हो रहे हैं कि ये आवाज़ कहाँ से निकल रही है. You know, there's that gramophone where they're... So initial years, women would put their head into that horn to record. It wasn't like this microphone which I'm sitting in front of and singing. They would have to put their head into that machine, and the voice would be embedded in the wax that was inside the machine, and then the records would be published in other countries, including in Hanover in Germany, which was a very popular place where these records got published. So it was a very complicated affair in the beginning. Yeah. Anyway, gramophone, like I said, also became a thing of fun. So I'll sing you a fun song. I've been introduced as this classical musician, but I'm going to be doing trivia this evening, so please bear with me, yeah? पहने कुर्ता पर पतलून आधा फागुन आधा जून. पहने कुर्ता पर पतलून आधा फागुन आधा पहने कुर्ता खैर तो लोग भी मज़े ले रहे थे ग्रामोफोन के. And like I said, it became a social thing. But the thing about these women was that they were exceptional in how they adapted themselves to a new technology. अब आप सोचिए कि ये बाई बेगम जान में उस्ताद और पंडित क्यों नहीं लगाया मैंने, है ना? उसकी एक वजह है. उसकी एक्चुअली 2 वजह हैं. एक ये कि उस्तादों को ये लगता था कि अब हम अपना गाना बेचेंगे क्या. इट वॉज बीनीथ देम टू एक्चुअली सेल वॉट वी सेलिब्रेट एज एन ओरल ट्रेडिशन. जो घरानेदार गायकी है उसमें गुरु शिष्य परंपरा जो है, तो उस्तादों को लगता था यार ये तो अपना सारा सिलसिला जो है वो रिकॉर्ड में बिक जाएगा. सो दे वर हेजिटेंट. एंड द सेकेंड थिंग वॉज दे वर अनश्योर अबाउट द टेक्नोलॉजी, कि कहीं मेरी आवाज़ तो नहीं खा जाएगी ये मशीन. But the women were strugglers. They came from the courtesan tradition. They transitioned into this world of technology. They may have been a bit wary of it, but they took to it. They trained to become a part of it. So you might wonder, what training to become a part of this technology? The fact is that when technology first came to music, it was very crude. अभी तो आप स्टूडियो में जाते हैं, 16 ट्रैक रिकॉर्डिंग होती है, मिक्सिंग हो जाती है, मास्टरिंग कहीं लंदन में हो रही है, एंड यू नो फाइनली यू लिसन टू अरिजीत सिंह सिंग समथिंग एंड फील वेरी गुड अबाउट इट, राइट? बट व्हेन इट स्टार्टेड, सॉरी, देयर वाज नो सच हैपनिंग टेक्नोलॉजी. सो women had to deal with what was there. Like I told you, they would dig their face into a wax on and sing, which meant that they had to actually sing in a higher pitch, so that the voice could get embedded on the wax, which meant that what we celebrate as Indian classical music, which can be sung for hours, suddenly had to be collapsed into 3 minutes, because that's all that the 78 RPM could afford. Hana, in the beginning the record was a 78 RPM on which a maximum of 3.5 minutes of recording was done. In fact, they say that the film song even today somewhat lingers around that 4-minute mark for this reason. Yeah? But women trained to sing even classical on the record, because that was also selling. So some women became experts on the classical music. Zohrabai Agrewali, for example, she was famous for singing classical music on the 78 RPMs. A lot of young people think classical is boring because it's slow. But these women managed to pack it into 3 minutes and sang slow and fast and everything back and forth on it. Yeah? Should I sing you a classical song? There are 3 young faces which might go off to sleep. This is going to be my acid test. It's a tarana in the rag Basant. I know it's cold, but let's presume it's spring. Technically बसंत पंचमी तो कब की हो गई है, अब तो होली आने वाली है. So it's not that all women were like superstars of their time. They were all struggling. But it's true that some of them did become superstars. So there was Bai, there was Begum, like I said, Zohra Bai, Gohar Jan. We'll come to the Begum later. But there was also a Ms. Like Miss, Mrs., Ms. There was a Ms. And there were many women who made it to the category of Miss. Some of these were popular with the British. Right? This was pre-independence. So, and those who were popular, some of them would get advertisements in English newspapers. So one such popular performer of that time was Miss Dulari. And in her name there was an advertisement in a paper, in an English newspaper. It was like a tiny box, not like half a page like you get these days. A tiny box which said, "Miss not the golden opportunity. Miss not the golden opportunity. Lucky he who tastes the honey of life, and unlucky he who sits at home with his wife." So Dulari was a popular singer. मेरे नाम से तो किसी ने कुछ ऐसा नहीं लिखा है आज तक. तो दुलारी की गाई हुई एक चीज सुना रही हूँ. I have some very talented musicians on stage with me today. Amar Sangam Das on the guitar, Badlu Khan Saab on the harmonium, and Shanti Bhushan on the tabla. Thanks to all this, Bai Begum, they're all semi-feminists now. My ulterior hidden agenda, not so hidden. So here goes Dulari. Nani nani bundiya re, nani nani bundiya re, saban mein mera jhoolna, nani nani bundiya re, saban mein mera jhoolna. But then something happened in the 30s which again changed the course of history. भैया कुछ उड़ तो नहीं जाएगा ना यहाँ पे? In 1931, sound came to films. That was the beginning of the making of Bollywood, right? Can you imagine a life without Bollywood songs? No. So for the first time in 1931, music came to films. And when music came to films, lo and behold, the women took charge of that as well. And it is said that the first of the music directors in Hindi film particularly was a woman. She came from a Parsi family, but she came with a name like Khurshid. And some of the better known names in the film industry said this kind of a name is not going to work, let's change the name, and she became Saraswati Devi. And Saraswati Devi became a very popular film music director. She directed music for iconic films. You know, please go back and Google the younger faces. Films like, with Devika Rani and Ashok Kumar, where she's directed songs like Main Ban Ki Chidiya Ban Ban Dolu Re. All that is Saraswati Devi. And she also introduces playback to Hindi cinema. Yeah? So these are two very seminal contributions she made to the world of cinema. And like I said, one can't think of, Indian culture without Bollywood songs. And within the first few years when when sound came into film, more than 750 songs were made within the first 5 years. So you can imagine how quickly popular they became. And even when the recordings were being made on the 78 RPM, women were very clever. They were trying to do, even at that point, popular songs sold more than what I sang a little while ago as a tarana, right? And they would introduce songs where there were English words, for example, to make it more trendy, to make it more cool. So there were songs like Darling Tum Ban Gaye Ab Gentleman, or there would be references to a cigarette or the railways, things like that were all introduced into song as well. But like I said, when song came into film, that started out another phase altogether. So I'm going to sing you 2 film songs. I don't know how much time we have because we can go on like forever and ever, but I know it's cold. I won't take too much of your time. I'll sing you 2 film songs. So the first film song is, I chose to sing it because it's Saraswati Devi's song. She sang it herself in the film. And the film was a 1934 or a 36 film. And it was called Jawani Ki Hawa. Yeah, you can imagine what the posters must have looked like. So this is a song that she sang herself. And she's tried things in it because, like I said, no multi-track recording. Yeah. कित गए हो के बनहार, कित गए हो के बनहार, नैया डूबती, नैया डूबती, कित गए हो के बनहार, कित गए हो के बनहार, नैया डूबती, नैया डूबती। fortunate to learn from one of the senior most student of Begum Akhtar's. Now Begum Akhtar was also a rock star of her time, and she started out on the record as Akhtari by Faizabad. I'm going to sing a film song which was sung by her in a film called Roti in the year 1942. You know, my children always tell me, like, Mom, for you to like something, it has to be at least 90 years old. This project has really got me in that loop, I think. But I'll sing you this song from Roti, and the music is by a legendary musician called Anil Biswas. And it was produced by none other than another legend called Mehboob Khan Sahab. And we've reversioned the song. We've contemporized it a little bit. We've not taken away the tune that Anil ji had composed, but we've tried to play with it. उलझ गए नैनवा 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 छूटे नहीं छुड़ाए छूटे नहीं छुड़ाए उलझ गए नैनवा उलझ गए नैनवा बाण पे बाण चलाए बाण पे बाण चलाए बालम घायल कर कर जाए घायल कर कर जाए उलझ गए नैनवा अखियाँ रस की बूंद जरा सी। अभी इसको सुनिए आप और रस लीजिए इसका, वाह वाह वाह। अखियाँ रस की बूंद जरा सी, अखियाँ रस की बूंद जरा सी, जलती आग बुझाए। अखियाँ रस की बूंद जरा सी, जलती आग बुझाए, जलती आग बुझाए, बालम बुझी आग दहकाए। जलती आग बुझाए, बालम बुझी आग दहकाए, बुझी आग दहकाए। उलझ गए नैनवा, उलझ गए नैनवा, उलझ गए नैनवा, छूट नहीं छुड़ाए, उलझ गए नैनवा। थैंक यू वेरी मच। पर देखिए, ये कहना मेरा ख्याल में गलत नहीं होगा कि बॉलीवुड में बहुत सारे चोर हैं। बड़ी सारी चीज़ें जो ये बाइयाँ गा के चली गई हैं उसको उठा के चेप दिया है उन्होंने। बहुत अच्छा शब्द नहीं है एक स्टोरी टेलिंग फेस्टिवल के लिए, लेकिन और कोई शब्द इसके बराबर का नहीं मिला मुझे। तो एक ऐसी चीज़ सुनाती हूँ जो अख्तरी का गाया हुआ है पुराना, लेकिन उसको उठा लिया गया है बेरहमी से। मॉनिटर में थोड़ा सा तबला दे दीजिए, गिटार वाले मॉनिटर। तबला बंद हो गया मॉनिटर में। आप लोग को हमें कोई इंडिकेशन तो नहीं दे रहे कि बहुत हो गया? हमारी अटरिया पे आवो सावरिया, देखा देखी बलम हुई जाए। हमारी अटरिया पे आवो सावरिया, देखा देखी बलम हुई जाए। आवो बलम तुम, आवो सजन तुम हमरे द्वारे, सब दिन का झगड़ा खत्म हुई जाए। हमारी अटरिया पे हमारी अटरिया पे आवो सावरिया, देखा देखी बलम हुई जाए। हमारी अटरिया पे पहले जमाने में शेर जोड़े जाते थे दादरे में। तसव्वुर में चले आते हो, कुछ बातें भी होती हैं। हाँ, शब-ए फुरकत भी होती है, मुलाकातें भी होती एक आखिरी चीज़ पेश कर रहे हैं. We've done too many banal things now to go towards the sacred. My God, I think Shiva will get angry after singing all this. नैन मिली जये उलझ गए नैनवा and बाण पे बाण चलाए बालम etc. So गजल सुनेंगे. वैसे आपको बता दूं कि ये जो सब चल रहा था ग्रामोफोन, बहुत लोग काफ़ी नाराज़ भी थे इससे कि ये क्या मतलब है, अब सारा संगीत को आपने मशीन के अंदर डाल दिया. एक शायर थे अकबर इलाहाबादी, उन्होंने कहा कि भरते हैं आह भी वो मेरी फीस लेकर, कहते हैं फीस दीजिए और वाह कीजिए. परेशान थे कि भाई पैसे दे के गाना सुनना पड़ रहा है. तो all was not hunky dory and not all everybody was not jumping with joy with the gramophone. However, it changed the listening experience forever. So all this work that we are doing is part of a project called Women on Record. It's about the women who sang on the gramophone record, but it's also about putting them on record. We don't know who these women were. And I'm also very delighted to tell you that we have a website, womenonrecord.com, which has been done by someone from Udaipur. Yes, Ram and his wife Geeta are here. And we are very grateful to them that they have... so now that you have a local connect, please go and look at the website. We'll end with an iconic ghazal by, this was a phenomenon of the subcontinent, what we now look at India, etc., etc. I don't know if we can even utter the P word and the B word, but this was all part of the subcontinent. So I'm going to end this evening with a stunning, well, I'm not the stunning ghazal singer, but the lady who sang it was a stunning musician, Farida Khanum, who sang Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo. चंद घड़ियाँ यही है जो आज़ाद है, वक्त की कैद में जिंदगी है मगर चंद घड़ियाँ यही है जो आज़ाद है। उनको पाकर मेरी जाने जा उम्र भर यूं तरसते रहो, आज जाने की जिद न करो, यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो, आज जाने की जिद न करो। Thank you all very much. Thank you very much, Shweta ji, for inviting us.